Hey, I'm Andrea from Santa Fe Painted Workshops, and today I'm going to show you a really easy way to start an abstract painting. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually start this painting with painting shapes. And what we're doing is we're just establishing basically like 3, maybe 4 shapes in the background with some colors. And I'm going to choose colors that are a little bit darker so that we can establish depth as the background in our space. So first I'm going to show you that the colors I'm using. Here I'm using this phthalo blue on the left with a little bit of white, a little bit of yellow. In the middle is a turquoise, on the right is just some white in case I need to lighten something. Personally, I love these cheapo hardware store brushes to kind of just lay down some paint. And a lot of times I will cover my canvas with a color, like the whole thing first, and then I paint on top. But because we're going to be painting these shapes, we'll just paint the shapes and that will cover the whole surface of the canvas. Okay, so I actually have a little there. Let's give it a little bit more of a curve. Okay, so we have one shape here. I'm just going to use this turquoise right into this brush. I think it'll look cool. And I'm going to go ahead and put my next shape in here. And I'll overlap the other one. And then we just get some interesting streaking and blending as well. Having the water bottle is really useful when you're painting, but you don't want to overdo it. The water bottle will just help to spread out your paint better. And I think what I'll do, because this blended so much, I think I'm going to go ahead and wash my brush for the last shape. By the way, if you want to learn how to mix turquoise, I do have a video. If you look on my color mixing folder, I'll show you how to make your own turquoise. This is a store-bought turquoise from Nova Color. We could dry this and just call this our background, but I kind of want to play and I want to blend between the lines a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and use a smaller brush for that. I'll just go ahead and blend between the lines a little bit. Actually, it's removing paint a little bit here. I don't mind how that looks. I'm going to go with that. So I'm going right on the line back and forth. And the more I go in this line back and forth, that is, you see, like blending the colors with each other, right? So look at this line, how stark that is. Just put my brush between the two. We move up, go into the blue, move down, bring the blue into the green. And this paint is already a little bit dry, which is surprising. I live in Santa Fe, New Mexico. It's very dry here, so things dry very fast. So we'll just add a little bit more blue to my brush. And we'll blend down. So now we can play a little bit with this, and I'm just gonna go right into this turquoise, and I just want to, make this a little bit more of a curve in here. And I'm gonna add a little bit of white to my brush, and just maybe lighten up this shape a little bit, just so it stands out a little bit more. You know, when I'm adding that white, you can see the streakiness. So notice that the direction of my brush strokes, I'm keeping this curve here. I also love to flip my painting around every once in a while. And I think it's kind of fun this way. So let's work on it this way for a little bit. Remember, we're just establishing some shapes here. So I'm feeling like I want some of this dark over here in this area, so it looks like it continues there. And I'm gonna wash my brush for this, just so I keep it nice and dark. And this is the phthalo blue with just a little bit of white and just a little bit of yellow. And really, I'm just sort of playing with this idea of shapes. I'm going to stop here. So what we'll do is we'll dry this layer. So we do this background layer and we dry it so that we don't wipe off the paint, okay, with the next layers. You can get a hairdryer or you can just wait a few minutes, it's up to you. One thing to keep in mind when you're drying your painting with a hairdryer is that it's hot, right? And we're working on canvas here. And so canvas is cotton and it's a little wet from the paint. And so it shrinks. And so if your canvas is loose, it's a good idea to purposely do this But if your canvas is already pretty tight, just keep it on the cool setting on your hairdryer, so it'll still dry it faster than just drying on its own, but it won't warp your canvas too much. And what you wanna do is just basically just go all around the piece, don't hang out in one area too long, just move all around the piece with your hairdryer. And just a little bit about me, I am a 30-year artist and I teach in-person painting classes and retreats in my downtown Santa Fe studio and gallery space. I also have an online pre-recorded abstract painting course and also a group coaching program for more experienced artists. You can learn about how to work with me in person or online with the links in the description. Okay, so now that we're dry and we have some basic shapes established, now we can keep working on our piece. We have a bit of a structure here, right? And we can even add more of a structure by adding maybe smaller shapes on top of these. And also you might want to consider adding some lighter colors with some of the shapes, because if we keep adding lighter colors, those colors will move forward, okay, and will create more depth. So darker colors move back in the picture plane and lighter colors appear to move forward. Let's go ahead and we'll add some dark blue to this area. And I'm just doing kind of like, almost like just making lines. Like we have this funnel thing that happened. Wasn't really planning that. I'm just gonna go with that. And notice I'm kind of scratching and I'm going fast. This is like gesture painting. You know, I can do something really solid like this if I want to. But if you did something like that, what I'd recommend, push hard on your brush and then ease up. And then we get this sense of depth, even just with the line that you make, because again, a thicker line is gonna, you know, look closer and the thinner lines are gonna look further away. So I'm really just playing here. I'm just filling in this shape with some designs, okay? And I'll go into the turquoise color and I'll add a little bit of white to my turquoise just so that, again, we're a little bit lighter and it's moving more forward, closer to us in the picture plane. Okay, so I'm just adding a bit of white to my turquoise here. And let's see, let's do this. Look how light I'm going here. Actually barely touching the canvas. Really have a lot of paint on there, and maybe even more white than I wanted. I'm just kind of outlining these shapes a little bit. And I want to try maybe a smaller brush now. And I'm going to go now in between these shapes, okay? So we're basically just creating shapes and then we're filling inside the shapes right now. Okay, I'm getting a little more of that paint. And here I'm going right in the middle of what I just did. And it's nice to have a little water in your brush for this. Just so it, you know, when you have a small brush, sometimes you just need a little bit of water on there so the paint moves enough. Okay. So step back every once in a while from your painting, just like see what you're doing, get a little perspective on it. When you're really close in, it's hard to tell sometimes. Okay, so I have to balance out. There's a lot going on this way, right? And so I need to balance that out with maybe some things going this way. Maybe this here, a line wants to come right there, right? We're just balancing. We've got this, we want to have that, right? We have this here, we have that there. Let's flip our painting and just see this in a different way. Okay, so now we have it this way. And so when I see it this way, obviously we really need to work on this blue a little bit. And I'm purposely not showing you guys so much of what I'm doing with color here because I want you to focus more on shapes and form. We're not worrying about color. Now, I know I'm not going into a whole lot of detail about color here, but I want to let you know that you can get more information about color. I actually have a PDF in which I list out the 8 colors that every artist must have. And basically they're the best colors for color mixing. And so if you want to check that out, you can also get that link in the description below. This is really about free flowing. Just get some color set up and free flowing and painting. So where do I need something? Right here, maybe. Let's counteract the lines that I'd already done there. And I want a little bit more turquoise in with the blue here. Okay, and I'm just taking this idea and now I'm going, you know, because the lines, if you can see, they're going this way. So I'm just kind of almost like cross hatching. going perpendicular to those lines. We're gonna add a little bit more white to that. Yeah, that's not really showing up. There we go, that's better. Let's flip it again. Okay, so now when we see it this way, we obviously need a few things down here. Not a whole lot. We'll take one here. So what we're doing, actually, we're just continuing to build a structure, okay? I think I just want to fill that area in with the turquoise. And it's really just playing. You know, I didn't plan this ahead of time. I didn't know what I was going to do. I knew that I was going to show you guys how to work with shapes and how to use shapes as a place to start. But when you get into a painting, then it's just playing and seeing what needs to happen. The painting will start to show you, hey, you need something here. You need something there. This is a big blank area. I'll deal with that at some point. But the painting really does start to tell us what to do. I like this thick, solid idea here of the turquoise, and I'm gonna get my bigger brush here, and I'm gonna repeat that idea on the other side. I always like to, after I wash my brush, just give it a good dry. You can also tap it, kind of like Bob Ross style. Remember, he would do that little flip thing. Okay, so I have this thicker line here, so I want to balance that. I feel like it should be there. So you see we're kind of working with balance here too. And we keep flipping the painting because it keeps resetting our eye and letting us see the painting in a different way. Let's flip again. I want to play in this area a little bit. And so there's some different techniques we can do to maybe just sort of pull this out and make this a little bit more interesting. I'm gonna add a little bit of black to the blue that I have, okay? I'm just gonna add a very small amount. Now I'm gonna get a palette knife, and I'm gonna use a palette knife to paint into that area. And I'm using that blue-black. And I'm gonna do what's called scumbling, where I'm lightly putting the color in, so we're showing some of the background still. And I'm kind of feeling like I want to sharpen the edge on this a little bit. Okay, so this gives the painting, and I'm going to move this up a little bit. So what we got there was just an interesting effect that now we have a darker area, but we can still see a little bit of that background color, okay? And that's called scumbling. I did a bit of dry brush there. I'm going to stop here. And I'm going to do another video where I continue to show you more techniques, and that will be the next video in this series. If you did benefit from this video, please subscribe and like. It really does help get this video and my channel out to more people. Thanks for watching. Take care.